Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Montalvo time, woo! Otherwise known as Montalvo in the morning. This is the show that forgot to get up in the morning. This is the morning show that is always guaranteed to brighten up your day. You're listening to Montalvo in the morning, and this show is brought to you by Truth O's. There's a morsel of truth in every bite. That's right. Let me take a long sip of my coffee here. What are you going to talk about today? So many false flags. False flags. Where does false flag come from? It comes from when pirates used to fly a false flag to scare the other ship into thinking that, well, it wouldn't scare them. It would lure them into a false sense of hope, and then they'd be scared after when they flew the Jolly Roger. That's a false flag. What is it? You got supermarket serial killers now, false flags. So now when you're buying your cereal, you got to look out behind the aisle because there's a serial killer in the grocery store. What else? FBI knew about the supermarket serial killer, false flag people, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of false flags going on in Asian sucky massage places. What a joke. What a complete joke. Oh, pinhead, dodo brain, pedophile Joe Biden finally gave his first solo news conference. How many Joe Biden presentations when he shows himself have you seen that are like green screened? I've seen a bunch, okay, but whatever. He gave another solo speech, and let me tell you, I'm looking at pinhead, dodo brain, pedo Joe, and his brain must be as big as a raisin. It's as big as a raisin. You know, he's so stupid, Joe Biden, that he could swallow a raisin and he'd choke on the raisin. He'd somehow go up and get lodged into his brain. And the doctors would have a hard time determining which is which. Is the brain the raisin or is the raisin the brain? I don't know, because they're both the same size. Brain dead, raisin brain, Joe, who also eats Raisin Bran because he's an old fart. He's probably a bunch of clones. He's probably been dead. Like Kim Jong-un. You really think Kim Jong-un is still alive? I got news for you. There's a bunch of clones. And they put them up there. The Freemasonic New World Order satanic vampire devil aliens from hell that rule you. That's why I do this show. I do this show to fight the satanic vampire, devil, demon, New World Order hellraisers. And you're wondering why I got this big old hat on. It's because I went to Mexico. I went to Mexico because the little kids in Mexico don't know that they're part of Cloward and Piven agenda to economically destabilize the United States of America, right? Which is instituted by the commie demo rats. They don't know that. And they're getting poked and prodded and raped. So they needed a superhero. They needed Montalvo time. Woo! So I went over there, and because the Border Patrol needed some people as like volunteers and stuff, I went over there and I went toe to toe with Wile E. Coyote. I was like boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I boom, Wile E. Coyote. I hit him like this. Yeah. Because those little kids, they're getting poked and prodded and put in cages. They need a superhero. They need Bruce Montalvo. They need someone who's going to tell them to take their vitamins and say their prayers and drink their milk and listen to Montalvo in the morning. Woo! I'm trying to save them. I'm trying to save the little beanie babies. So they need a superhero. That's why I'm wearing this hat. All right, what else? I talked about Joe Biden having a raisin for a brain. What else? I talked about how the doctors would get confused. They wouldn't know if the raisin is the brain or the brain is the raisin. You know what else? I'm one of the only men, talk show hosts, to know firsthand, because Elvis told me, personally, because I was good friends with Elvis. I was good friends with him. He just died recently. He told me he was abducted by UFOs. And he told me that Bigfoot has just one big foot. So after hearing that, I was like the pinnacle of knowledge. I said, okay, Elvis, I have to help the people and tell them the truth and nothing but the truth, and tell them that there's a communist overthrow of their government, and that government they had was also in on it. And if you don't believe me, there's a book called The Last President. It was written like in 1800, and it talks about like Trump and stuff, saying that he's the last president. Why don't you go look that up? It's a little Montalvo homework for you. And pretty much America is now under UN government control. The UN is telling America what to do, what to think, what to say, how to feel. And this is how I feel about it. Don't tell me how to feel and what to do, and mask me with your worthless, stupid masks that don't work. I'd rather put on a sombrero because it's Montalvo time. Woo! All right. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. This COVID crap is ridiculous. You know, they made laws against dancing. You weren't allowed to dance, and you weren't allowed to play cornhole. Wow. And the guy that instituted that in New York, Governor Cuomo, is getting cornholed as we speak. What else? So they say they're easing the restrictions, but they're just blue-balling you. They're like tickling you with a feather. You know, oh, yes. We're easing restrictions. In the great state of Arizona here, they're saying that masks are no longer enforceable. It seems like the governor here has some backbone, but I don't trust anybody in government. Because people around here are still saying you got to wear your mask. All the stores are saying you got to wear a mask. Well, I'll wear a mask. I'll wear a luchador mask so I could choke your ass silly for thinking you could tell me what to do. So, they're telling you can't dance and you can't play cornhole because COVID said so. You know what's funny also? There's been a whole lot of police brutality, like real brutality. Like if you don't wear your mask, you get the shit kicked out of you by a bunch of cops, Rodney King style. And you don't see Black Lives Matter or anybody rallying for the people that are getting their ass kicked for not wearing a mask, right? Well, there is police brutality. And they give them tanks and all sorts of stuff. And now they're kicking your ass in the supermarket if you don't wear your mask while you're picking your freaking peppers. Okay? So, double crisis, police violence, and COVID-19. Yeah, forget about all the organized race-baiting groups that scream police brutality every minute. Okay, police will kick your monkey ass if you don't wear a mask. Just know that. So that's the real police brutality there. There's medical tyranny like no other. Medical tyranny like no other. While they have the false idol up there, Fauci, everybody, oh my God, I'm praying to Fauci. I'll do anything you do. You know, some of you sheeple are so stupid and such sheeple that if Fauci told you to jump off a bridge or jump off a cliff because that cures COVID, you'd do it. And some of you would do it. Some of you would jump off the Brooklyn Bridge if Fauci told you that it cured COVID. COVID has been kicking Jesus' ass. If you happen to love Jesus, I love you, Jesus. Yeah, you're just a metaphor for the sun anyway, but whatever. Some good stories and morals or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, if you love your Jesus, they're not letting you go love your Jesus because they say you're going to spread COVID through loving Jesus. No, you know what it is? You know what it really is? They don't like religion. Communism does not like religion. Communism and religion could never coexist. Okay? Just look up Marxism and religion. They don't like you being holy. They want you to worship the state. They want you to be a slave to the state. That is why you can't go to your phony baloney, sun-worshipping Jesus church. What's next on the Montalvo menu here? Dumbass, brain-dead Joe Biden is demanding gun control. I said this was going to happen, and now they're expecting a mass surge at all gun stores of people going to arm themselves to the teeth, which is good because the Democrats sell guns. They're like gun salesmen. The NRA will never tell you that those stinky communist Democrats are actually gun salesmen. So I don't know. I could see past their facade, but at the same time, they do want to take your guns away. So they'll say, oh, look, all the American people went out and bought guns. Now we got to send the UN in to kick their ass. Well, the UN better recognize that America is one of the biggest the people of America are like the biggest they're the most armed, biggest non-military unit of citizens in the whole flat world. So they want to take your guns away while wanting to sell them. I know, it's perplexing. You know, you need a big hat in order to understand it all. Okay? So Biden demands Congress tighten gun laws in wake of fake sucky massage Asian false flag psyops and supermarket grocery store psyops. Now you got to watch out when you're buying some cereal that the serial killer is not behind the cereal. Get out of town. Fake. There's a whole bunch of martial law in Miami. You know, all those greasy teenagers that go over there with all the lotions and creams. And they get all creamed up and they go over there and they all like have a giant freaking beach whale orgy all over the beach. And they're coughing and spreading their COVID and their diarrhea all over the place. Well, they needed to be martial lawed, right? Right. So that's what the New World Order did. They martial lawed their ass over there in Miami. They got the jump out boys kicking their ass, Miami-Dade police department running around in tanks because you can't have spring break anymore because COVID said so. You can't dance and you can't play cornhole and you can't have spring break. Woo! What else? The libtards at MSLSD are going to tell you that coronavirus will not lead to martial law. Well, it's 2021, and the freaking National Guard is still in D.C. because it was a communist overthrow of your government. What else? LeBron James broke his leg. Look, LeBron James, because it's March Madness, basketball, and you people blue pill yourselves, and that's your blue pill. The libtards took your blue pill. He is a jealous little bald-headed bitch, LeBron James. And because college basketball is more popular than the NBA at this time, he needed to get the headlines. I broke my leg. Oh, my God. Basketball is like for pussies, man. They're almost as pussies as soccer players. What else? Dodo. Joe Biden calls Kamala president. Now, is this some type of foreshadowing? Some type of revelation of the method? Is Joe Biden just going to be part of the Mandela effect and you're not going to remember him like the Shazam movie? Let me tell you something. I went to go see that Shazam movie with Sinbad in it. I was there. I remember. It wasn't a false memory. Well, Joe Biden's going to become a false memory pretty soon, be part of the Mandela effect. When, if he keeps saying stuff like Kamala Harris is President Kamala Harris, look, she's just waiting like some Mortal Kombat mask character to do a fatality on Pedo Joe. And the fatality will be a 25th Amendment fatality. And she's doing like the friendship right now, right? But it's going to be a fatality. They're going to kill the Biden presidency because he's so crazy. They're going to say that he's crazy, he falls all over the place, he fell off of Air Force One, or he'll be on Air Force One, Joe Biden, is this the bathroom? And he'll open up the door and he'll fly out of the freaking plane and be like, oh, what have we done? Democrats, demagogues, Demos Kratos will likely invoke the 25th Amendment. Mainstream media kissing Joe Biden's ass up until the point where they can't kiss it anymore, and he just is so like unprotectable. You can't like protect that he's stuttering and fumbling and mumbling and falling all over the place. How long are you gonna be able to protect this fool? There's like a glazed look in his eye. Yeah, the New York Post cover says glazed and confused. They're gonna hang him out to dry. They're gonna invoke the 25th Amendment any minute now. Any minute now. So as all hell keeps breaking loose, martial law in Miami, Joe Biden falling off of freaking planes, the Democrats still not respecting the border, so I had to go over there and try to kick their asses because the kids over there, they're getting poked and prodded by these vampire adrenochrome sucking Democrats. They need a hero. They need a Bruce Montalvo. And let me tell you something. They're such hypocrites because I remember Obama telling ABC News, George Stephanopoulos, he told them, if they do make it to the border, I'll send them back. And I remember covering a story where I wrote an article before it's news that Obama was the deporter-in-chief, and he deported more illegal aliens than George Bush, and probably Donald Trump also. So they're playing games with your heart like a boy band. So Democrats are like In Sync or whatever, the boy band. Quit playing games with my heart, with my heart, with my heart. I should have known from the start. Look, I grew up on New Kids on the Block, all right? What else? So Democrats are hypocrite bastards, and Obama proved it because he said go back, and he deported a whole bunch of them. So Joe Biden also invited a whole bunch of illegals, and these are scary illegals that you should be scared of because they're cleaver-wielding psychopathic maniacs. What else is on the agenda here? See what's on the good old, fake old drudgeon. 500 million vaccines given. Signs of life amid concern in second year of pandemic. USA COVID cases rising again. Reversing months of progress. Oh yeah, now they're trying to say that there's like Ebola now. Like Ebola came back. And there's some type of new variant now. Some mutant variant. And now they're trying to say that the people that get the vaccines are actually going to give you the COVID. Well, duh. They're injecting corona in you, you stupid idiot. What else? It's not COVID killing people in Brazil. It's mass genocide, government genocide. They're not going to tell you that, but Bruce Montalvo will. Mass burials. Oh, man. Reminds me of that episode of Jesse Ventura with all the caskets from FEMA. Now we probably know what they're using them for. Former CDC director says he believes he escaped from the Wuhan lab. Blah, blah, blah. They're testing on your children because your children and you are cattle that are to be herded. That's why they keep using the phrase herd immunity, because you're no different than a cattle. And they make your Social Security, your birth certificate that is on the same paper as money, and they trade you on the stock market. They actually give up human GDP, like real human worth, in America. They use it as collateral to the debt that they have in China. So China owns your ass. All right. Fox News getting sued by Dominion, who literally rigged elections in Venezuela and all these other third world countries. Oh my God, I hate the fake news. Oh, look at this. Godzilla monkey sent to fat camp. Oh, he's living the good life. Godzilla monkey. Who you got? Do you got King Kong or Godzilla? I heard some spoilers, and I heard that Mecha Godzilla is going to get in between their big fight or whatever, and like when somebody's about to get knocked out, he's going to like basically like in wrestling come in and hit Godzilla over the head and like disqualify Kong or whatever. Anyway, that looks like good compared to all the other crap. That looks like a good movie. King Kong versus Godzilla, and not any of the acting, just the monsters. Yeah, you just stay away from the acting. I mean, Godzilla movies, they always have the worst acting. It's like, oh my god, I now see Godzilla. He's up there to destroy us all. Oh, Bruce, that's part of Asian hate culture. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Oh no. Spectacular fireball lit up Pacific Northwest. SpaceX, please. I don't believe diddly squat that SpaceX does. Okay, all they do is green screen cars, behind green screens. You really think a car was floating in space? If you do, you're a special kind of stupid. And I can't help you. So there's a big ship in the Suez Canal blocking all sorts of imports. So if you ordered something from Amazon or eBay or whatever, it's not going to get to you because of that big ship that's just sitting there shitting on everything. I saw a meme. It was like Pepe on it. Let's see. Satellite image reveals extent of traffic jam. Satellites are not real. Russia pushes Arctic ambitions. Yeah, because that's where they test all that UFO stuff out by the polar 0 point vortex. Look, it's like my hat's like a giant UFO. Actually, it is a UFO. Got a UFO in my head. All right, that's enough of the stinky fake news report. What else we got? Let's see here. I wanted to get into the word science again and how they keep using it. People say, oh my God, trust the science. Really? The government is so good with science, right? The government used to tell pregnant women to smoke. Oh, that's fine. Go ahead and smoke. You're going to trust that science? I already told you on the last show that science means to cut or to divide knowledge. So it doesn't mean what you think it means. Biden elevates science. Biden science. This is my impersonation of Joe Biden right now. I don't see why you always have to be judging me because I only believe in science. Aren't you sick of people that say science all the time? You just want to slap them like this. Slap them like this. Science. Shove your science up your culo, you fake news pushing sons of bitches. And before we go here, got some more lessons to teach you, my Montalvo students. They're politicizing all these Asian Atlanta sucky false flag massage shootings, supermarket Colorado shootings. There's always a shooting in Colorado, right? Like the Joker shooter and the fucking Columbine and this and that. And now more false flag shootings. They always set them up in Colorado. Asian massage sucky false flag, supermarket false flag. Oh, look, it says King's Super. That's a clue. King. What does the king wear? A Corona, right? And they're using all this to politicize the fact that they want to restrict your gun rights. Politicize. What does politicize mean? What does politics mean? What does politician mean? Well, poly is a Latin word for many. And ticks are blood-sucking creatures. So here we have blood-sucking creatures who run the media, the Marxist media, and they create fake scenarios in the news because of the Smith-Mundt Act being repealed. They repealed the Smith-Mundt Act, and now that allows the government to work with Marxist news organizations, ABC, NBC, all of those, CNN, and they all work in tandem with them to push propaganda onto you, so then through this psychological operation they could influence you and take your guns. So what did Biden push his House? Gun reform in wake of Colorado mass shooting. Didn't take long, right? They haven't even put the dirt on the fake graves of all the fake crisis actors that died, that didn't die. They haven't even put the dirt on them, and why should they? Because they're still alive. But he's already politicizing a tragedy. You see, they're disgusting individuals. You want to be safe? Buy yourself a gun. Buy yourself a gun and you'll feel safe. The freaking criminal comes in. You feeling lucky? Well, do you, punk? Because we, the American people, are like Clint Eastwood. All right, remember that. They could never take our guns. Never! Never, ever. You'll never take my sombrero either. Woo! Let's see. Yeah, it's like, bad apple. You ever heard the one bad apple spoils the bunch? Well, this bad apple wasn't even an apple. It was a crisis actor apple. And then they used that fake apple, it's a holographic apple, to take your real apples. Don't let them do it, folks. Don't let them do it. This is the greatest country in the world because you could own private property. You have the unalienable sanctity of the home, and you can defend yourself. If you live in your house, you have castle doctrine in your house. I'm not talking about all the ghetto freaking shit dwellers in New York City that live like fucking pigs. You don't got castle doctrine there with the butt fucker that's like walking above your ceiling and listening to you pork your wife and all that stuff. Ugh, you disgusting New York. I hate New York. I'm so glad we're out of New York. It's been years. I remember living in New York. It's a terrible place. Talk about bad apples. And not now. New York is saying, oh, you have to show me your papers if you want to come to New York and eat the hot dog that's riddled in rat shit cooked in it. You have to show me your papers. Talk about bad apples. So there you go. I gave you some news and I gave you the meaning of the word politic. The politics, who are blood-sucking creatures that politicize fake news, that they are now free to broadcast fake news propaganda because of the repealing of the Smith-Mundt Act. Woo! So that does it. This is the morning show, always guaranteed to brighten up your day. This has been Montalvo in the morning. And all my little beanie babies out there, fear not, for I am coming that way to free you from your cages and to beat up Wile E. Coyote and to remind you to always say your prayers, drink your milk, and take your vitamins. Woo! Montalvo time! Hasta la vista, baby.